All right, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Marvel MVF-200S. Now, this is a relatively newer pair of pliers from Marvel. It is a little bit updated version of a cross-cut pair of pliers that they have offered in the past. So here they are. These have a red, kind of a softer rubberized grip on them, whereas the older ones, which I happen to have right here, have more of a harder plastic handle on them with lots of grip down here at the bottom, whereas these guys have a more of a softer grip, and then you kind of have some grip here up on the top. Now, these guys are made in Japan, so you are going to see that on the insides of the handle. Then you have a hole here and a hole here on the pliers. I'm not sure if that was meant for like a tether system for when you're working with this tool at height or what that is for, but they did include that on this pair of pliers. Now, you do have that black oxide finish. It's not really a polished finish like the older pair of pliers is. You just kind of got that black oxide finish that kind of scrapes up and gets all dinged up fairly easily. And you do have the Marvel name there on the pliers, along with your model number that is all laser etched onto the surface of the plier. Now, the cutting jaws on these is a little bit different than the older pair. The older ones have more of a straight shearing design, where these ones have a curved pair of shears on them, which I think is better for cutting through multiple conductors at once. I think that's why they did it with these guys. Now, coming to the front or the nose of the pliers, these ones, for some reason, they decided to go with the parallel teeth versus the crosshatch teeth they went with on the older pair. And it also appears that the jaws are slightly smaller than the original pair. So they decided to go with the parallel teeth. For me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of parallel teeth. I like the crosshatch teeth better, just because when you're really trying to use them to pull onto something, those crosshatching teeth tend to dig into whatever you're trying to pull a lot better, whereas these parallel teeth can slip a lot easier. So that's pretty much it for the detail on these guys. You look over to the back, you can see the rivets that they use to punch and hold the tool together. So we'll go ahead and get that older pair of pliers out of the way, and we'll go ahead and zoom the camera out so we can get to some of the functionality of these pliers. Now, this is kind of where they get a little bit of disappointing for me, in my opinion. This is as far open as they will go, which is nothing compared to the older pair of pliers, where these guys pretty much open up all the way. You can cut quite large conductors with these older ones. So these ones kind of disappointing that's pretty much as far open as they go. You can kind of see that the rivet does move back and forth in the plier. And you open it up and it kind of locks into place. You can kind of hear it and see that bottom jaw move. I'm not really sure what is up with that. So that's kind of it for the opening and closing of the plier. Now, I guess we should see if they can cut through some conductors. So we'll go ahead and bring in some MC wire and see if these guys can chop through that. And they have no issue cutting through some MC wire. I'm not really sure if they're made to cut through MC wire, but they definitely can cut through it without an issue. Now we'll go ahead and bring in some number 12 wire. Now, another thing that I like to use my original pair of Marvels for was for using them as a pair of strippers. So we're going to go ahead and see how well we can strip some wire with these. And I'm kind of struggling a little bit here with those curved jaws, but I am able to pull off that insulation, and you are able to cut through that wire. Now, me personally, I'm not the big. Another downside to these is I'm just not the biggest fan of how they cut. I just don't like how they cut. That's just my personal opinion and preference on them. I feel the older ones cut a lot. Cut a lot smoother and a lot cleaner through it. But that's, like I said, that's just my opinion. You may think different. So we'll go ahead and cut that number 12 wire and see how well we can use those teeth. And we didn't have any slippage there. So that is the number 12 wire. So we'll set that off to the side. Throw that little cut cut wire off to the side, and we'll bring in some number 10 wire. Now, I've said this before in a past video. I really don't like this number 10 wire that I picked up. I picked it up from City Electric. I just find it hard to pull off the insulation on it when I'm stripping it, but that's just me. So we'll go ahead and see if we have any issues with this guy. And like I said, it's a little bit hard and a little bit challenging to get this insulation off, but we are able to do it, and we are able to cut through that 10 gauge stranded wire. So we'll go ahead and do that one more time, and we are able to do that without any issue on them. Now, another thing to note about these guys versus the old pair of pliers, these guys don't feature a crimper, whereas the other ones did feature a crimper on them. Now, it's not very versatile crimper if you're trying to like crimp some larger conductors, but for the smaller ones, it would definitely work just fine. So these guys don't have a crimper on them, but at least you do get the comfort grip handles. So overall, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of these newer Marvel pliers. I definitely prefer the older pair over these. But like I said, that's just my opinion. You might get them and you might like them a lot. But for me personally, I'm just not the biggest fan of them. I don't really like how they cut. And it's kind of disappointing to see how far they open compared to the older pair of pliers that they have. You would think that they'd have made a pair of pliers that was kind of almost the same as the older pair. Just, you had the curved jaws and the comfort grip handles. The teeth on the front, I could easily kind of get over. I mean, guys who use combination pliers and things like that, I'm sure have no issues pulling off, the insulation and things off the wire. I'm just accustomed to the crosshatch teeth. That's kind of my preference over the parallel teeth that come on the plier. But like I said, overall, not too impressed with these pliers. I'm kind of glad I only bought one pair instead of two. Like I did with these older Marvels. I have another pair of these still sitting in the packaging, just in case I mess them up. But I think I'm only going to stick with the one pair of these. I'm not, like I said, not the happiest with them. But if you want to try them out and see how they work for you, I did pick these up off of eBay. They did come from Japan. I don't know if you're going to be able to find them here in the States. But I'll do my best to see if I could find some reputable retailers that have them. I can't guarantee that at the time of posting this video that all of the eBay sellers that I'll list and or some of the places that have them available will have them at the time that this video is up, or how long they'll have them after this video goes live. I can't promise that, but I will try to do my best to leave some links down in the description below. So with that being said, that's kind of all I have for this video. So as always, thanks for watching.